started. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, Texas Pledge and reflection. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas
flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
If you would bow with me for just a moment. Dearest Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight thanking you so much for all the blessings that you bestowed upon us. Thank you for this wonderful country that we live in, this wonderful state, and this county. Thank you for this hospital, Father, and we just ask that as we meet as a board, you give us the wisdom to recognize those things to do that are right and the courage to do them, Father. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Be seated, please. We'll call this meeting to order. Start out the roll call of the board. MAH00084. Here. Grace Pettis.
Here.
Jeff Jordan. Here. Allison Lambert.
Here.
Larry Richardson. Here. Joshua Warner. Absent. Tom Miller. Present. Kay Dagan.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. We'll start out by, we have several meeting minutes that we need to approve. So let's start out with the August 15th board meeting minutes. If you would review those quickly and let me know when you're ready to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented for the the August 15th, 2019 minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Jeff Jordan, a second by Grace Pettis, to approve the minutes for August 15th, 2019. All in favor? Motion carries. All right, now we need to review the minutes from the September 3rd first public hearing board meeting minutes.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from the first public hearing on September 3rd, 2019.
A motion by Allison Lambert, second by Larry Richardson, to approve the minutes from the September 3rd, 2019 public hearing. All in favor? Motion carries. Next we go to the September 5th budget workshop meeting minutes.
I move for the approval of the September 5th, 2019 call board budget workshop meeting minutes as presented.
A motion by Ms. Lehos, second by Allison Lambert to approve the September 5th meeting minutes. All in favor? Motion carries. And last but not least, approval of the September 12th, 2019 second public hearing board meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Kay Dagan, excuse me, and second by Jeff Jordan, that we approve the September 12th meeting minutes. All in favor? I have to admit that sometimes names just vanish out of my mind. So I have this little thing right here.
We'll remind you. Just look at it and tell you.
I mean, I looked right at you, I was like, going,
Who are you? I've been looking at your face for 5 years.
you changed your hair or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. You didn't recognize me. That was good try.
Completely good.
That's what it was.
Well, it does look a little bit. Anyway, next up is citizen input. We do not have anyone signed up for citizen input today, so we'll move on to number 6. Review, consider, and take action regarding any of the following issues. Board of Directors business. First up, we have received an email from Joshua Warner as follows. It says, I was really hoping that my work schedule was going to change, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to contribute to the board as the hospital will need. So I'm officially going to tender my resignation as a board member so y'all can bring in someone that will be able to dedicate their time. It's been an honor to be on the board with all of you. Thank you so much, Josh Warren. Having received that, I would ask for a motion to accept Josh's resignation.
So moved. Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Allison Lambert, second by Kate Dagan to accept Joshua Warner's resignation. All in favor? Okay. Next up on the agenda is an introduction. We have a young man here this evening, Justin Cook, that has been recommended for the board by, I guess in full disclosure, his father-in-law. So he must like you enough to have you around. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. So what you have in front of you is Justin's resume. But Justin, if you'd like to introduce yourself, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Justin Cook. I am Marcelo's son-in-law. Have been for 5 years, been with the dog for 7. I've been in Floresville for 9, and during my tenure here in Floresville, Connolly Memorial has been probably 80% of all my health care. My primary care is here, my gastroenterologist is here. I own Cook Pump and Supply. We've been in business for just over 4 years. We have a store here in Floresville and in Odessa, Texas. I've been in oil and gas for 16 years this month. I'm a husband, father of 3, and a follower of Christ. I also currently sit on another board for a nonprofit called One in San Antonio, formerly Christ Healing Center, and it is a place that brings in leaders in the community and teaches them how to pray, has classes on prayer, and puts them back into the community. And then they also offer heart-to-heart prayer for people that have had trauma or anything else really that you just need to sit down with somebody and be able to get prayed over, and also teach how to hear the voice of God. So I've been on that board for January will be a year. And then we also have our board at Cook Pumps that I've led for 4 years now. And I mean, that's really the gist of it. I'm honored to be invited here today and look forward to what the future brings.
Thank you, Justin. Justin will be observing us throughout the rest of this meeting. If after the meeting's over, Justin still wants to be on the board, so be on your best behavior. Then we will get him on the agenda to swear him in for the October board. Justin, thank you for being here. Okay, next up, we'll move to item 7, which is review, consider and take action regarding any of the following issues. First is the August summary and financial analysis.
Thank you. For the month of August, our inpatient volume dropped quite a bit. We only saw 53 admissions for the month. It says 60 on there, please correct it, 253. We only had 218 patient days. That brings our average daily census down to 7. On a year-to-date basis, we're at 10, so that's 3 less per day than our 12-month average. So that's very significant. And our average length of stay did creep up to a little bit above 4. We've been running closer to the 3.5 range recently. We had a couple patients, specifically one in the ICU, that caused that to really elongate when you run the numbers. Just because of the low census, 1 or 2 patients can really affect that length of stay. The low census, you'll note in a minute when we talk about also the low gross revenue from our inpatient volume. On the outpatient side, we did have almost 1,000 ER visits. We had 993, so that was great. We were up by 3% over prior month on our lab and radiology visits, so that was another positive there. And our surgical procedures were 110. We did decline in our GI procedures for the month due to some vacation utilized by our GI physician. So on the inpatient side, you'll note that we were 34% under budget, but on the outpatient side, we were only 6% below budget. The total operating income for the month was a negative $70,000. That is $71,000 better than budget. And the actual net income for the month was $232,000, which is favorable to budget by $73,000. On a year-to-date basis, we are still $313,000 ahead of budget. So we're still in good position going into our final month. When we look at the inpatient volume, I mentioned the low census. That's 30% below where we were prior year. So that's a big reason why the budget to actual variance is so much, because we base it off of historical trends. So we had a much better month last year, same month. Contractual-wise, we had a very good month. We did have almost $27,000 pickup built in for the month for our DISH funds that we received, so that helped a little bit. And then our point of service collections were just shy of $100,000 at $95,000. On the expense side, salaries and wages coming in 4.6% above budget. Physician salaries coming in significantly under budget for a couple of reasons. We did have a physician that became a subcontractor who's now showing up in the payments to physicians line item, so that accounted for almost $60,000 in August. We also had the retirement of Harry Chavez, and we lost our pediatrician, Trey Moorhead. Dr. Henley has picked up some of the Chavez volume, so his was actually a little bit over by $11,000. On the employee benefits, we were $52,000 over budget. $50,000 of that was due to a transfer of funds to cover our self-funded health insurance claims. Looking at the past 11 months on a year-to-date basis, our domestic utilization of our health insurance claims is at 25%. So what that means is, of the almost $1.4 million that in total that our employees have spent or incurred going to physicians, $338,000 of that was spent at our facility. So I think that's fairly good utilization, and we'll work on some techniques next year to try to increase that even more. Contract labor expense is a little over budget. We did get our ICU staffed up and quit using contract labor there, as well as respiratory therapy. However, med-surg is still utilizing contract labor, specifically for nights. So we're doing a big hiring promotion. We'll be advertising in multiple papers, including the San Antonio Express, as well as all the regular venues like Monster and Indeed and all the big ones that are out there for job boards. So we're looking forward to getting some good applicants very quickly to help fill those positions. On the supply side, coming in $94,000 under budget. The big ticket items there was the implants at almost $34,000 under budget, and then another $33,000 from our clinics on our supply spend. Repairs and maintenance coming in slightly above budget by $26,000. Big ticket items there were some AC unit repairs in radiology, repair to our DEXA machine, and also a humidifier repair. Utilities coming in $30,000 under budget, primarily from a reversal of an accrual for our previous telephone vendor. We had some funds that we were reserving due to some invoices. After negotiating and discussing those with the vendor, it was deemed that we did not have to pay those. So we were able to reverse that accrual and saw a $30,000 benefit. Any questions on the expense items? Income? Moving on to the balance sheet. Strong cash at the end of August at $13.9 million. That's 145.5 days cash on hand. That's very strong. Cash collections from accounts receivable were at $2.8 million. As I mentioned in finance, we're doing a lot of work around our cash collections and process improvements. The team at Endeavor has spent a lot of time working with our team here and improving processes. We're starting to see the benefits of that hard work. So we'll continue to see some improvements. We're doing some things in the clinic system that we'll talk about as well a little bit later, around improving collections, decreasing denials, and getting bills out faster, following up on phone calls more frequently with the patients, and just all around improvements in our cash collections. Two big items that we will have in the month of September for year end. We made our final DY8 UC payment, which will allow us to recognize $935,000 in the month of September. So that was a nice surprise for your last month. However, there's a negative that there is a potential recoupment due to some estimates that the state made having to do with some payment caps in prior year in compensated funds. And we will be looking at potentially a $515,000 recoupment. So earlier in finance, we did not have the number.
You got that text.
We got the text. So it's a little higher than I was expecting. I was hoping a little bit less than that, but I think we'll still be all right for the year.
One step forward, two steps back.
Yeah. So we'll book that in September, and we'll get a little more detail and support on it, make sure that that's the right number that we're comfortable with. But it looks like they take a gross amount, and then they take about 57–58% of that number as your potential recoupment. So, sorry for the bad news, but there's a little good news with it.
And we have to hold the cash until they recoup it. So.
Yeah, and we're not sure how they're going to recoup it at this point either. So it It could be done through future uncompensated programs, or it could be done all at once. So we'll just have to reserve the money and patiently wait and see what happens.
Would they be able to request any interest that's accrued on it if they had?
I wouldn't think so. I mean,
Typically,
I'm not aware of them doing that.
they're like on a cost report or something like that. They would.
Yep.
If we don't pay it on
All right. Thank you for that information. What was the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee recommendation is to accept the August summary and financial analysis as presented. And so I make a motion.
Motion by Marcel Leha, second by Larry Richardson, to accept the August summary and financial analysis. All in favor? Motion carries. Next up is the financial investment review.
Does anybody need, I think everybody else has one of these. This is a breakdown of our investment accounts. Currently, we're split about 50-50 between our operations account and our investment accounts. So we have 4 investment accounts right now. The advisor's account has about 10 CDs in it that are layered so that every quarter there's about 1/4 of the funds coming due, and then if we don't need it, we reinvest that in the most advantageous CDs that are currently available. So we do have 3 coming due in October, so we'll go ahead and at that point look and see what is the best choice and move those into 3 more CDs. Or more depending on what's available. The bulk of the rest of the funds is in a securities account, which is performing almost as well as the CDs at a little bit over 2%. So all the investments appear to be performing very well so far. So we're just going to keep maintaining the same methodology until there's a reason to use those funds.
Okay. This was for informational purposes only, so no vote or motion is needed. Moving on to C, fiscal year 2019 auditor.
We've been using Durbin and Company for our auditors for the last few years. I've been using them for the last year. I've gotten very familiar with their team. The big projects that they do for us are the audit and the cost report, but there's probably a dozen or more other projects throughout the year that they assist with. One being the estimate that they provided tonight on potential recruitment. So they did come in slightly less than their main competitor, which is BKD. I think almost all hospitals either use BKD or Durbin. Probably not a bad choice with either one. However, I'm very familiar over the past 12 months with Durbin and Company and have been pleased with their service and impressed with their inquiries and questions around processes and accounting principles. So I would like to recommend that we continue to use Durbin and Company for the next year. I wanted to present you with their proposal.
What was the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee recommendation is to accept the fiscal year 2019 audit of Durbin and Company as presented, and so I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Second. Motion by Marcelo Leha, second by Jeff Jordan to approve contracting with Durbin and Associates for our 2019 audit. All in favor? Motion carries. All right. Next up, we will review the fiscal year 2020 operations budget.
So up on the screen and in front of you, we have the fiscal year 2020 budget. You'll note that we're going to see slightly less net revenue next year than we saw in the rolling 12 months by 648,000. However, we are budgeting to experience a little over $1.2 million increases in expenses. $216,000 of that coming from the loss of the waiver program. $130,000 of that in additional depreciation that we will recognize due to the renovations in the medical office building and necessary equipment. Also built into these numbers is bringing on another primary care physician, first year of a podiatrist, and half a year of a pediatrician. So we'll experience losses during the first year of the ramp up and expenses you incur to bring on those physicians. And then, as we discussed in finance, by year 2, the expectation would be that the volume is there. Physicians are up and running, and now it's turned into a revenue generating mechanism for us. We also
Questions?
are recognizing the increase in the property taxes that will go on.
Any questions about the budget?
Just one, the capital expenditures are not included in this, is that correct?
No, only the depreciation from those capital expenditures. But those just decrease your cash and don't touch the income statement. The other thing built in with the salaries and wages is our annual merit increase.
Any other questions? I'll ask the finance committee for their recommendation.
The recommendation from the finance committee is to accept the fiscal year 2020 operation budget as presented. So I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Marcelo Villegas, second by Allison Lambert, to accept the proposed fiscal year 2020 budget. All in favor? Motion carries. So, next up is the 3 fiscal year capital budget for fiscal year 2020 through 2022.
We're required to provide a 3-year capital budget. So on the board, we have the 2020, 2021, and fiscal year 2022 capital budgets. As these things are reviewed and we receive quotes on each one, we'll bring them back to the board to get approval to make those purchases. And then we'll do the same thing next year, so.
Any purchase over $10,000 requires board approval.
Correct.
So we're approving the budget, but not actually approving the expenditure.
Correct.
At this point. Okay. Any questions regarding the capital budget? If not, I'll ask the finance committee for their recommendation.
Recommendation by the finance committee was to accept the 3-year fiscal year capital budget for fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2022.
Okay. Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Marcelo Villegas, second by Grace Pettis, to accept and approve the 3 fiscal year capital budget for 2020 through 2022. All in favor? Motion carried. Next up is the fiscal year 2020 tax rate.
The tax rate for fiscal year 2020, we have proposed to be 0.1166. That is the same tax rate that we had in fiscal year 19. Because it is the same tax rate and the property values increased, it's technically an increase in taxes. It will generate approximately $200,000 more in tax revenue for the district. Bringing in a little over $4 million in total tax revenue. So we've had 2 public hearings. The first one was on September 3rd, the second one on September 12th. There was no representation other than the board at those meetings. So that was the public's opportunity to come and learn more about the reasons for the tax rate and to express any opinions that they might have had. So tonight, we're here to vote and adopt that tax rate of 0.1166.
Okay, Marcel, in this case, I need just your recommendation, but Allison has the motion.
Perfect.
So do you, does
Yes.
the Finance Committee recommend that we accept?
Yes, Finance Committee recommends the acceptance of the fiscal year 2020 tax rate.
Okay, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.1166, which is effectively a 5.05% increase in the tax rate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Just to point out, the tax rates remaining the same. However, due to property values increasing throughout the county, that same tax rate will result in an increase. So, all in favor? Motion carries. Next up is capital expenditure service agreement, lease agreement for the Paycom payroll system.
We currently use ADP for our payroll system. We were searching out improvements to that system that we currently use, as well as trying to incorporate a lot of systems that our HR department utilizes for our employees into just one system. What we found was we can switch to another system for slightly less expense and vast improvement to the system and capabilities. So we had 4 different vendors come in and impress us with their programs and their systems. And Paycom was the one that best fit the needs of the hospital. Their annual cost will be around $103,000. We're currently paying about $106,000 for what we have. So we'll see a minimal decrease in expense and a big increase in product capabilities with this change. Some of those are going to include things like being able to track mileage of employees that travel, ease of use by both the employees and the managers and directors, better reporting capabilities, and a vast improvement to the overall HR process and system in regards to employees. So we would like to get approval to move forward with using Paycom as our provider for our payroll services and HR services.
Anybody have questions?
Just one quick question. What are you looking at as far as ramp-up time for them and phasing out the current provider and that sort of thing?
So if we can get the ball rolling tomorrow, they think that they can get everything implemented by December 1st.
And what all does that entail, just?
So
Records.
they're going to have to go back several years with loading prior history, the current year to date for all the employees and all the deductions and everything, and then all of the mapping within their system, because we basically have to take our accounting system and have it communicate with their payroll system. And then they would issue the W-2s at the end of 2019 to our employees.
So it should be fairly seamless for the staff and everybody. that's
The
on
staff
payroll.
shouldn't notice anything at all.
Except for Barbara.
Barbara,
You gotta do all the work.
yeah, Barbara will bear the brunt of the work. Yeah.
What, will there be any liability incurred over the new Paycom system, assuming liability of tax deposits from the previous?
It's our tax deposits are our liability.
Okay.
I mean, they fill out the quarterly reports for the state and the federal government for us, but it is our liability.
What was the recommendation of the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee recommends the approval of the payroll system, the new payroll system to Paycom. service agreement and lease agreement. All that is entailed.
You so move.
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Have a motion by Ms. Layhouse, second by Jeff Jordan, to approve the agreement with Paycom payroll system, effective immediately. All in favor? Motion carries. All right. Next, number 8 is the annual and quarterly board reports. This quarter, we have patient service center report.
Formerly known as the call center. I apologize, Olivia couldn't be here tonight, so I'm gonna do my best to fill in for her. But they keep track of all their calls coming in and those, the average speed to answer. We had a little increase in time over August, and that was the average calls per day had increased, and the average speed to answer had increased too as well. One of the things, I'll talk a little bit more, family practice, we had a 98% answer rate, and in July we fell to 96%, and in August again to 95%. She's keeping an eye on that, and they're making improvements. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a few seconds here. Specialty clinic, that's the rollover. It actually first goes to the specialty clinic, and if they don't answer, it comes over. And because that transfer, some people are hanging up once they know they're going to the call center. She described that to you a little bit. So that's why specialty clinic isn't really as good as the calling just the 1400 number. But the service level, again, we saw the same dips in July and August. And it was because of the increase in calls. And there was one other reason that the main thing, we moved them to the South Campus, and we ran into a few difficulties when moving the call center from here down to the South Campus. And so those few days that they moved the phones, they ran into some difficulties, and that just bumped all their KPIs through the roof. So, but they've got a handle on it in September, as I understand. Those things have come down, but they are seeing large numbers of increased call volume, as you can see here. In May, 9,800, June, 9,000, July, 10,600, and again, 11,000 in August. So that call center is really getting hit hard. So I'm very proud of those young ladies, gone down there several times. They are handling not only just calls for appointments, again, refills, messages to the physicians to get you a timely answer back as a patient. And I'm just very proud of them and all the work that they do.
They're averaging over 500 calls a day.
Yes, sir.
Are they completely in the South Campus now?
They are completely in the South Campus now and have been so for about 3 weeks. So I'll just...
We also met yesterday to change some of the workflow to streamline some of the orders, so that will help as well.
Outstanding.
That's really good, 400 calls a day. That's a lot.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to number 9, marketing updates. So
I'll click it right up if you want. It's actually kind of funny.
Hi. Okay, so one of the sponsorships we did was for the Wild Game Dinner. Conley Home Health graciously donated an auctioned basket with a gun case and our safe and some cups that say Home Health, and then we sponsored their wristbands that say Conley Memorial Medical Center. So yeah, there was about 1,000 people there, so 1,000 people had Conley on their list. This month we'll have Dr. Holloway in the Phelps insert, so if you do get a bill, you can look at it, that'll be great. And then another sponsorship we did was for North Elementary. They are doing a anti-bullying folder for every student, pre-K, I think they're 5th or 4th graders. And this folder, every student has to use it. It's their homework folder that the parents are going to see, the students are going to have it all day, and it's an anti-bullying folder. So we're the only healthcare organization that they came to and asked, so we are in it. It's about 1,000 folders, I believe, and along with the folder, they send out a letter to all the parents asking them to support the businesses that sponsored the folders. So we're going to be in their letter that they send Another advertisement we were with the Wilson County News is their Friday night football scores. They have live scores real time now on their website and on the app. So anybody who's not at the football games want to check in, they go to the website and we are one of the sponsors. And if they click on our ad, it goes straight to the website.
No, you have to put ours at the top.
I know.
We said the same.
Our logo.
Our logo.
We were the fifth in line to say yes. That was at the top. And then also in the newspaper for 3 weeks was the notification of Dr. Henley's move. Dr. Profena and Dr. Holloway, along with Rick and Caitlin and I, we went doing our marketing rounds in Karn City Infinity. We met with Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ramirez, Dr. Doogie, Dr. Saldana, and then Caitlin and I stopped off at Bluebonnet Rehab and Rehabilitation. And we also stopped across the street at our, not ours, but the ER emergency 24/7 place there. And we met with, I forgot the doctor's name there, but we met with him. And it was very successful. It was nice. And then Dr. Ekmark was asked to be featured in Sam Houston State University. This is to promote their doctorate program because they feel like he's one of their successful students. They want to promote more physicians in the rural area. So they'll be sharing that commercial with us, and then once we get it, we'll probably alter it towards Connolly a little more, but that was exciting. He had a lot of fun doing that. And now I'm going to hand it over to Caitlin to talk about events.
North Volcano Festival is the second full weekend in October, so just a few weeks away. Conley usually has a representative in the coronation and in the parade. This year we have Lainey Gorzel and Caleb Snoga, both of Pogue, both seniors at Pogue. Lainey is Mary Dawn, our trauma coordinator's granddaughter. A little bit about them. Lainey is a superstar. She is a UCA All-American cheerleader. She's also a co-captain of Pogue Varsity's squad. She's an athletic trainer. She's a member of NHS, National Honor Society, FCCLA, which is Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, and she's in the Spanish and Art Club. Caleb is a Sonoga. I don't know who Sonoga he belongs to, but he's also a
He's a good Sonoga.
My
son's best friend.
I knew someone was going to know him.
They're a really good family. They're related to the Respondic and all of that.
Great. People ask me, who does he belong to? Who does he belong to? Great. He's with FFA, baseball, basketball, and he shows kids with 4-H. So a great group of kids. We are blessed to have them represent us. They will be, they're invited to the Goober Games on Tuesday, where we are doing the petting zoo. Dr. Holloway is going to come with his family and be with us there. They have a rehearsal dinner on Wednesday. Thursday is their coronation, where we're announced that we have a representative. They're invited to the kitty parade, where Home Health is going to have Caitlin Thayer, our home health administrators, newborn in the parade, so they're going to be promoting home health, and then we are in the main parade on Saturday. The decorations that we're doing for Saturday is going to highlight our gold awards. So all gold decorations and highlight our actual gold awards. Our Consolata sporting play tournament was a couple of weekends ago. It was successful with about 72 shooters. They had a 10-station course, really impressive shooters, I'm sure you can imagine, and about 18 teams total. Going on, you'll see some pictures of y'all's friends. We have Dr. Moorhead up top. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. I just wanted to.
You missed me. Sorry.
No, J.P. Lane was on the.
Oh, okay, I'll go back.
Thank you. You have Carl, Bob, Kyle, and some others. It was a lot of fun.
You look so precious.
A special thank you to Larry. He was with us setting up on Friday, and he was with us all day Saturday, making sure we were hydrated. So special thank you, Larry. Lester and Mary Jane Michipiamba, they're well known here. They sponsored the expansion of our Good Shepherd tree, which was previously funded by Consolata. So of course, this was what we had, and this is what it is. Feel free to stop by. It's even more beautiful in person. Though these are able to be purchased at $250, and we would love to fill up our tree. So pass the word around. All of the transactions can go through Veronica, the Consolata executive director, and Savannah and I can definitely help take those sponsorships as well. They are still selling these rocks at $1,000. It is a heavy piece of material, so they do have those, but since we have our expansion, we would really like to fill up the leaves. Our Knockout Hunger event, y'all are familiar with it. It is the first week of October. This is an opportunity for us to make a lot of meals, 20,000, and disperse them to food banks in our community. We are looking for volunteers. It is a great teenager opportunity for volunteer hours as well as adults. We need about 60 volunteers to create a line to get these meals passed out. That's going to be at the Sacred Heart Church Parish Hall. Yes, sir.
I just want to say, this is the 4th year we've done this. We buy bulk food and we get together and package it all up. It's macaroni and cheese with some fortified soy powder. The goal is 20,000 meals. If we get enough manpower, it's a pretty easy operation. I think everybody ought to come out and help and bring your kids and your grandkids because it's a good experience for them. So the more volunteers, the quicker we get it done.
Schools, Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Girl
Larry,
Scouts.
would you agree with the age about 10 and above?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll find something for the 8-year-olds to do, but then above, the 8-year-olds can put the little stickers on the packages.
Perfect.
That's and every little sticker will say donated by County Memorial Medical Center. So,
Great, thank you so much.
Where is it gonna be at that?
at the Sacred Heart Parish Hall.
Parish, where? Sacred Heart.
Parish Hall, yeah.
And we'll work out something for people to, if they want to volunteer, they can call our marketing
Well,
team.
they've got-
Did y'all put the number up
They
there?
have Veronica there.
Veronica will take care of it? Okay, good.
If we need to, we can change.
Okay.
Some upcoming events, Bob and some physicians and some administration staff will be attending the ISD Foundation, Education Foundation's gala this weekend. Next Wednesday, Bob and Savannah are attending a senior community needs in Wilson County. We are sponsoring first aid to 2 back-to-back events. We talked about Knockout Hunger. The Wilson County Sheriff's Office is putting on an active shooter training for employees. We've had a lot of response and everybody is really interested in that. We talked about Peanut Festival. Savannah and I, along with some of our nurses, are attending this health and wellness fair in Pleasanton. This Chalk Mountain Services offered us to attend their employee health fair of about 500 employees. It's going to be over 2 days and long days. So we're going to have a lot of exposure. There's a lot of employees that will come through there. We're going to attend the Floresville Chamber of Commerce will have a Halloween event downtown closer to the end of October. Do you remember us having our health care services group chef come and prepare a healthy meal for us? He's coming back and he's actually doing a demonstration of one recipe. We are currently working with Dr. Nyack, our healthy food advocate, and him to do an actual demonstration, so look out for more of that. And then we do have our Christmas party scheduled. Mark your calendar first week of December. Everybody's invited.
This is,
I do want to say, I am on a weekly basis at least getting a Facebook post from Conley, and they're really great.
Thank
So
you.
I just want to tell y'all that they're getting to me. I read them, I look at them, and go, wow, this is great stuff.
We're getting a lot more interaction, or likes, or comments, more on the regular. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, y'all are doing a great job with that. Really appreciate it. All right, next up.
I'm just doing an extension.
She's going to do extension.
Bob, but no.
We're going to extend with Mark just a little bit more.
Okay.
No.
So we're gonna.
I just wanted to give you a few updates on the marketing and updates on students we have coming here. So nursing, currently we have Coastal Bend College coming, Career Point, and then we just did an affiliation agreement with WGU, Western Governors University. They will be starting to have BSN program students come through here. I think in 2 weeks will be their first rotation. What is neat about this program is they have kind of married with a nurse here, and they will get like 75% off their tuition if they precept one of these students. So they came about 3 weeks ago, sat down with some of our veteran nurses that have been here for years, managers. Some of these nurses are going to go on to master's level. And so they offered, WGU offered scholarship assistance, tuition reimbursement, or tuition assistance up to 75% off. So we have probably about 5 day shift nurses on med surg, a couple in OR, I think 1 in ER that are signed up for that program. So it gives the students an opportunity to come to a clinical site in a rural area, but then also gives our nurses an opportunity to go for an advanced degree and have some tuition assistance. So that's a neat program. We'll see them come through in about 2 weeks. Respiratory therapy, we have a couple students that will be coming through to do their clinicals with St. Philip's College. Patient care technician, I'll show you some pictures. Livonia High School officially started last week. So I was very impressed. Huge difference than the students we get from San Antonio. They're just unbelievably responsible, respectful, love coming here. The instructor texted me one night at 9 o'clock at night. She goes, they will not stop talking and texting me about the clinics. So they've had 1 full week. They will go to all of the areas, including the clinics, mostly in the hospital. And I laugh because they're teenagers, so they're opening their mouth and inserting their foot. And some of them, we've asked them, what do you want to do, where do you want to be, and anesthesiologist, a CRNA, a nurse, on and on. So they told one of the nurses the other day, student said, well, I want to be a CRNA, I want to do anesthesia, but my grades aren't good enough, I'll settle to be an RN. Okay, well, I guess I settled. So I have to remind them, these are high school students, these are teenagers. They're going to say a lot of things like that. But they're very excited and they've done well. One wants to be a surgeon, so the first week we put him with Dr. Moorhead in OR, and he's had a blast. Southside ISD should be coming a little bit later in the year. Then EMT paramedic clinic rotations. Wilson County District 3 has teamed up with Livonia High School and Stockdale High School, and they will have their EMT students coming through here. So once they graduate as seniors, they'll be able to start as EMT basics. PERCOM EMS, School of EMS, and STI EMS also do their clinical rotations through the emergency room. So this has really grown. I still have other people that are calling us and wanting to look at affiliation agreements, so it's exciting. These are some of the Livonia High School students. Like I said, there are 8 of them, and their primary responsibilities will be doing basic vital signs and EKGs. They will not be doing anything invasive since they are high school students, but learning a lot, observing a lot, and hopefully giving them some ideas of what kind of field they want to go into. Just be a nurse. They will be here Monday, Thursday, and Fridays of every week until April. So they'll be with us for a while and actually get a lot of experience.
I mean, there's also UIW students here, right? UIW School of Medicine?
That's not nursing, yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
Three, we have at least 3 per rotation here.
Physician students.
Yeah.
Yes.
4.
And they're, how long are they?
They're 6 weeks at a time.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
So yes, they're upstairs with Dr. Blonde, Dr. Page, Dr. Yatskiv.
And Moorhead.
And Moorhead, yes.
Yeah.
Just a little bit on nursing outreach, to expand on the events. Floresville National Night Out will be October the 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. We will be there with booths doing blood pressure checks, pulse oximetry, AccuChecks, and normally we have our flu clinic here at the hospital. Sue had a good idea. She said, why don't we do it while we're out there? There's going to be a lot of people there. We can help bring people out there, also promote Connolly. And so we will have 250 free flu shots.
Where will that be?
October.
No, where?
Oh, we're at the event center.
Oh.
It's going to be at the Floresville Event Center. Anybody over 2 years old will have flu shots for. I have a feeling we're going to run out quick.
Yeah.
They asked us to bring our helicopter. I told them that Bob wouldn't approve it, so therefore I'll get somebody else to bring a helicopter and we'll slap a sticker on the side maybe.
We'll have to rent it, Kyle.
We'll have to rent one. I know they talked about the taco or the knockout hunger the same day as taco trample, so a few of us will be out there handing out water and doing a boo-boo station. There's like a 10K, 5K, 3K run downtown. So they've asked us to bring a first aid station down there for hydration, and there'll be about 5 or 6 of us down there handing out water, Band-Aids, just making sure everybody's safe. And that's it. So the last. Any questions?
You guys have a lot going on.
A lot.
Thank you. We'll go to the CEO report. Mr. Bob Gillespie.
Sorry. I just want to keep you up to date with everything going on. It won't move. It did. So we do have one more community needs assessment with everything going on in September, budgets and everything. I did not get to it as promised, but I will get it in October, our final review. Remember in January, February, we did all the community needs assessments from all over Wilson County, and so I will finish that up. Family practice, primary care visit is we are going to have a physician that should be graduating around the June timeframe, if I remember correctly. He'll be coming on Monday to tour Wilson County and see our great hospital. Marcel's been gracious enough to help us go around and show him the area along with our marketing department. So we look forward to that. That's something towards the future and working there. Podiatrist, I just have to brag a little bit about Dr. Holloway. He's already done 1 surgery and he has 2 on the books to schedule, I think, for next week. He's already had 30 appointments in Floresville and 9 booked for Lavernia. So he's hitting the door running, and we're really excited. His wife is actually involved with the community and with the hospital. She wants to join Consolata. She wants to work with the marketing department to make sure her husband is successful. Right there. I love her. I love her. So it's exciting. For the last month, physician rounding, I just promised I made, and so I want to let you know that I've rounded on Dr. Eschenroder, Dr. Ekmark, Dr. Henley. Dr. Fenn and I had a meeting this last month, and Dr. Moorhead and Dr. Faulkner. So I try to meet with them, go over things with them, break down barriers where I can. I think I told y'all about last month, Economic Development Corporation. I actually met with everyone, brought them in here. I told you I was going to have the meeting. I may have updated some of you in some of the meetings we had, but it was a really great meeting. They, I don't think they've ever actually joined together and had a meeting. So it was actually kind of nice to facilitate that here. And the reason why we wanted to meet with them is to recruit new primary care physicians, specialties. We want to sell the community. We want to let people come together in a booklet and try to be able to recruit physicians. And so I thought it was a really neat gesture of everyone to
That
come
was a
together.
good idea. I don't know who thought of that, but a really good idea.
Somebody. I have no idea. I love bragging about the team. So just want to say this. I always told you I talked to you all about some of the, foundation. We always talk about it, but that is part of the processes we have to have. We always have to have a foundation. We're going to bring in more physicians. We're going to bring in new service lines. We need to make sure some of these things we have down rock solid. Our insurance verification process improvement is almost nearly complete. Kyle and the team have really implemented that. Olivia and her team have implemented many of these things, and Endeavor has actually helped us come in and make sure that we have the processes built within our systems. We have one final piece to put in, but we're right there, so I'm going to say we're at about 80% complete. But that makes sure that when somebody comes in and they have a certain insurance, you have a certain copay, we're telling you exactly what you owe by your own insurance, and it's integrated into our systems. And so it's outstanding to have that process being built. Kyle's already talked about it a little bit, but the business office improvement plans, we've been working on everything from our unbilled, just making sure that we're getting all the proper bills out the door and actually to the insurance company so that we get payment. Everybody in our team has been working on this process, and our team includes those at Endeavor, Kyle, we've even had Brandon working with it, with Sylvia and Mandy Bingham in our clinic business office and our business office working together to make those improvements. And it's really been good because we've been seeing, even though the Chavezes have departed as family practitioners, we're collecting what we should, what's right, and we're collecting it in a timely manner. Scheduling department, they've worked on that. We're at 24 hours making appointments, unless your insurance company getting that authorization up to 48 hours. There were times here that we were honestly waiting for a month for somebody to get scheduled. That they worked hard together to make it electronic, and everybody can keep tabs on it. Everybody knows where we stand, and so that team has done an outstanding job too as well. Kyle was talking about it earlier, but that denials portion, some of that denials portion, if we're going to work on that, getting it electronic too as well. Right now it's paper, and so we want that electronic. You can keep tabs on it, you know what's out there, you know what's pending, and we can get that collected. Our central campus, we talked about it, Henley and Roars are out there, and yes, they are loving it just a little too much. So I told them it's a little too echoey in there though.
It doesn't have to be. You can fix that.
I can fix that. Our multi-specialty clinics, that was a big trial. And Olivia and Brandon, thank you so much. They got that done. The team, our facilities team, we did all the moves ourselves of all of our business offices, all of our accounting department, our home health department. They all worked together, and we did it ourselves. And I can't say enough. That was outstanding. So if you see Brandon, our facilities crew out there, when you're walking around, shake their hand. They saved us so much money, number one.
No back injuries?
Number two.
We won't talk about the claims.
But I can't say enough the teamwork that was involved. Our accounting department bought packages of alcoholic beverages and cookies for the team after work. So, because the special treatment they got, so I thought that was a real nice gesture. Our main campus is where our accounting and clinic business office have moved to, until we can finally move everybody to the south campus. Kyle talked a little bit about that, but there's a few contracts we're going through legal processes to actually end those. And the south campus, we talked about the formerly known as the call center, but the patient service center. One of the service lines I always told you about, we're holding our contractor to the gun, or put this foot on the pedal. Infusion therapy I was telling you about last month. I was going to start showing you where we're at, and so for August, our gross revenue, of course net revenue is what counts, but we're seeing the increase in our infusion therapy. Probably seen the advertisement on their sign, but they don't have to go to San Antonio to get infusions, and so we're hoping to pick that up and grow that a great service line for us.
What are the types of services that infusion therapy provides?
Mandy stepped out to help me out, but I know that you can do iron therapy, I know that you can get antibiotics. We aren't doing, one big portion that we haven't gone to yet is the cancer treatments yet. There's still a lot you have to go for that. Can you help me out with any others you can think of?
Antibiotics.
Antibiotics.
Long-term, I just.
Yes. And there's certain things too, if your blood iron levels getting too high, and you actually have to have therapy to give blood. You can't donate blood, but you can actually have blood taken out.
So essentially, doctors from San Antonio can send.
They
could send prescriptions of that here.
Yes, and the company that's working with us, Bob's done a good job of making them work the region. So they're working every physician in the region, make sure they're aware.
Every month I meet with them and I get a full report and I give them suggestions of what doctors to see and give them a little intuitive advice when going to meet with them, and we've been picking up everywhere. And
So
they're going they're going down to Beeville and Kennedy too as well, because there's no infusion centers down there.
So they can send the protocols.
They
Are we
can send-
getting any protocols from north, from San
yes.
Antonio?
That's a little harder, but the south side we're getting a few.
Mhm.
Mainly we're getting them from Stockdale, Jordanton, Lavernia, our own patients, our own clinic systems, and as far south as, I think we got one from Beeville. That was the farthest south we've gotten. So Kennedy is also something we're getting.
So we're not doing chemotherapy?
When you're not doing
Are we
chemotherapy this time.
continuing to?
Are we what now?
So do we plan to offer that in the future, or is that?
I gotta learn a little. I do have to learn a little bit more. There are some things we have to do pharmaceutical-wise and training-wise before we could do that, and staff training-wise. So that would probably be a next step evolution that we do want to look at over the next year.
I was thinking, something like this that people are having to go into San Antonio for.
Right.
Is
That are
a
being treated.
great service
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
As long as, the whole thing's gonna be that as long as those patients know that they can come here and, ask their doctor. Because, it's like your doctor may say, oh, you need an MRI, you need to go yonder, and it's like, well, I could go here. You pretty much have to say, no, I wanna go over here.
There's a lot of regulatory factors there before we go into the chemo portion of that.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to do is build a foundation right now of just an infusion center and handling all those, and then look at that further on down the road. Which leads me to the next slide. So we will be looking at infusion therapy. So we talked about that. This year we've been hit with a lot on the budget. So we're not satisfied with just stopping and saying, hey, this year isn't the greatest year. We need to keep looking forward and looking at initiatives that we, for over the next year. So infusion therapy is one. We want to see that grow and see what other products, lines we can other than infusion therapy grow, and if need be, expand in some of the rooms that we aren't using, or go to some of the space we do have and set up several different beds. My dream, I went to university and met with their CEO and their COO, and they had their infusion center had 48 beds. So that it is a real need. It is a real need out there, and so I think that we can continue to grow, have a pathway to grow that infusion therapy. Home health, y'all made me fall in love, so I have to keep going on it. So our primary home health,
Primary
health
home
coach or
Primary
home care. Sorry, it's a PHC. I just know it as PHC. That's where they go out and they take care of family members who need help with the washing of dishes, cooking, cleaning, anything they can do. We're going to look at that too as far as how we can expand those services. I think we're doing really well in that area, but I think we've just hit the tip of the iceberg.
Is that kind of like, you see visiting angels and
There
things
you
like
go.
that?
So we want to look at it as also a private pay thing too as well. Right now, we're just doing it as a Medicaid program, then we get that reimbursement. We need to expand those services for even those that may want a private pay.
But, for example, to do some of that work, you don't have to be a nurse.
No, you do not.
You probably have to have some training of some kind, maybe.
You do have to go through with
CNA,
training and
isn't
then actually, it can be a family member.
Really?
It can actually be a family member.
For
So,
the private thing?
yes, it does. Well, for private pay, I'm talking for even the Medicaid portion.
That
It
can be
can be a family member. you might want to, for your own liability, when you get into the private pay, you may want to CNA, you may want something like that. So that's a little bit more expensive. But I want to see about growing that. And in the next year, I do want to look at hospice, if that is something that we want to head down. Because home health is, you know, it kind of just breaks even. It's right there. So what do we need to do to take it over the top? But it's a lot better than it was 3 years ago.
It's not breaking yet.
I haven't finished the numbers yet for the year.
Yeah.
The cigars in
Oh,
my
you
desk.
keep throwing that volume down, you know he's gonna take the challenge.
So product line.
Something's
That's for the month, not the year. Come on. Product line evaluations. Every product line is going to be evaluated over the next year. It's every specialty, every primary care, inpatient, laboratory, imaging. Every product line will be looked at and see what we can do to hone it down and make it right and make it do better. So that is important to us for our long-term longevity. We need to make sure that we look at every product line and work on it. New product lines, GYN, we really don't have that here for surgical services, but you also have family practice OB too that we could look at, bring in here, and so we can get started on that, taking care of people up to the time and working on those. And sometimes those POBs actually go, they'll work with a hospital that does, where you do have birthing, and they'll go there to have the birthing there, but taken care of in Wilson County. Urgent care on main campus, we've been talking about it for years. So we're gonna hone down on urgent care in Laverne. We're gonna get things right. We have some work there to do. Y'all saw the numbers we looked at. We're gonna hone that down, and then we're gonna really look at how to do it here on main campus too as well. I think that'll be a benefit to us. Bed utilization, we're gonna be looking at everything. 44 beds up there, average 10 patients a day. Is that about right? 10 to 12? Yeah, 10 right now, okay. So assisted living, that could be a possibility for some of those beds up there. Swing bed program, so I just went to a torch meeting and I actually learned something I wasn't aware of because it really is affecting, we have a swing bed program here, but it's not a large program. Where you get swing bed patients are mainly in your nursing homes. And so the rules have changed as of October 1 for nursing homes. I met with the nursing home administrator just yesterday, and they don't know what they're going to do because they're going to lose money on swing beds. So we can bring that back here. So we're going to try to have a meeting with all the nursing homes in the region in Wilson County.
Sorry, what's a swing bed?
So the swing bed best is a person who's long-term, swinging them from an inpatient to a long-term patient, and they get rehab services. And so that's somebody going to a nursing home, and you could probably better describe it than I could.
Skilled nursing facility?
Skilled nursing facility.
SNF.
Yeah.
It's SNF, but within the hospital.
We're allowed to swing them, they stay in their same bed, but we get reimbursed different. And care requirements are less.
And we have all the services here, and a lot of it has to do with the
You don't have to
rehab.
go to a different facility. for
The
that.
nursing homes are not gonna be able to get reimbursed for rehab at the rates they were before, so that's where they're gonna lose.
And we will be?
Well, we already have the staff here, so it kind of helps us a little bit. We're already employing them, and we do get the reimbursement, but we can control some of those costs where they can't. They have to actually bring somebody in, and at a higher rate in many cases. But it's been beneficial to us to a certain extent, but we're not being cut. It's the nursing homes that are. So we'll look at that too. We've got to vet that out properly too. Inpatient hospice, general inpatient care, GIP. What we're looking there is that we can get with the hospice organization until we do our own hospice. And we can actually lease 5 or 6 of the rooms. They can come in, and for those patients that can't get true hospice care, there's no family at home, or they're working and they can't be there all the time, and we can lease some beds to a hospice care and take care of that. So these are some of the ideas that we're having. We're coming up even more. Every day I get hit with a few more, and from the team and from Endeavor, and so we're not going to rest. This is our job. So I just wanted to know we had the budget meeting, but I didn't want you to think that was just it, that the budget is where we stand.
It seemed like we'd be more suited for swing bed than we would assisted living.
I think so too.
Assisted living places typically have activities and big dining areas and, bingo night and this and that and the other. I don't know if we can,
Nursing homes are, the rule changes October 1. They're a little nervous right now, so they may not be willing to give that up right away and until they see how it works out. But I think we can work together and have a meeting and see how we can all help each other.
No, you're talking swing, he's talking.
Oh, I'm sorry, swing, you talked to us.
He's talking assisted.
Assisted living? Oh, I
You're correct,
apologize.
we'd have to modify
Yes.
the unit
Yeah.
because they do require
It's not big
activity
enough.
areas, but.
Yeah,
We
assisted
were
living is
looking
a lot
at that
different.
for the Jerry site, where you have to do something along the same lines.
Almost
It's
like
just
you
a
have to have an
possibility.
activity director,
Yeah,
stuff
there's
like that, so.
different
I just think we're better suited for swing bed than we
Yes, sir.
are
Sorry,
assisted living.
I'm all stuck on swing bed. I have to stay there. So, keeps going back.
Bob, I just had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Product line evaluation, how many product lines do we have altogether to evaluate them? What kind of time frame are we looking at for evaluating them all? Muscle men.
There's probably
51.
10 to 15 different ones that we need to drill down.
Do we need to drill, but there's probably 51 altogether that you need to hit. If you need to hit them, you need to be looking at them on a monthly basis as far as budgetary,
Right.
and you'll see which ones are performing optimally, and then we'll hit.
I mean, I think
More than
it's a
10 to
great idea.
15, but
When you say service line, you mean like orthopedic, cardiology.
Right, right. Well, you know, what, you had product line and that sort of thing. What do we offer? What are all, because that's a great idea. We think it's a great idea, but if there's a lot, you're gonna go through all of them within a year? Or, I'm just saying, just asking.
You know, we review financial reports of the departments on
Right.
a monthly basis or
Okay.
so on, but what Bob's proposing is we go deeper in trying to challenge the director, the leader of that area to grow their business, what do they need?
Yes, yes.
And be more intentional about it versus just kind of getting the reporting each month.
so it's not, I'm not gonna be the one going in there and fixing
Oh,
things.
okay.
And so but yes, we review it.
Where it's gonna go out, they're gonna be kind of.
We're gonna look at areas to optimize in each
Assessing themselves.
area. Yes, and then set the director, the executive and the director to focus on those items.
Right.
So if I just said it off the top of my head, now, there's some service lines that duplicate, you might have one primary, we talked about this, you might have one primary care that's doing really well where another one is not. So we'll have to focus on those. But if I looked at laboratory and their reimbursement too, there may be some areas we need to focus on in the clinic system, providing, getting out there with a phlebotomist to draw blood, to come in.
So we're just looking for upside and efficiencies and
Yes.
that sort of thing.
And just
Streamlining.
deeper dive.
Deeper dives. Much deeper dives.
More intentional and more detailed than just our monthly.
But all of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys do this, but, I mean, one of the things that I've found in my career is that a lot of decisions get made up here. The people up here don't really know what's going on down here.
You're exactly right.
They don't know what works and what doesn't. They make a decision up here based on concept. It's theoretical
Yes.
up here. Down here is reality. So I think you gotta reach down here and say, what's working? What's not?
Yes.
What do you know, and ask them, so we can't get honest feedback from people and then do some of the things they want. you know,
And challenge
which I
them, and
did.
challenge them
And
to
that's
come up
exactly
with
why I was
ideas
just
and
like-
cost-saving programs
Sure.
and think outside the box.
Mhm.
Excellent.
So that's what we're going to do. That is our mission.
Tough, tough, tough.
Any questions on that? One final thing. US News, just put it out there for 2020 Best Hospitals. I told you about the Gold Award, so we are in a national publication now for our Gold Award for stroke. So that's some exciting news.
Bravo.
Anybody, is that it?
That's
Anything
it,
else? Anybody have any other questions? Mr. Gillespie? Yes, ma'am.
I would like for us to do something about this vaping issue. Has anybody brought it up, or?
We're hearing a lot of things about it.
I know.
It was talked about it when I was at Torch. They're still trying to find out exactly what it is. They have some thoughts and theories on that. And,
There's been 7 confirmed deaths
There have.
that are linked to vaping, according to what, it might be more today, but.
It moves very quickly.
So you know what we can do? We can start promoting a no vaping, a no tobacco, a no vaping when we're out there and out in the community, some education. That's good.
I'm really concerned because I can remember as a child when the cigarette commercials were removed from TV because of the nicotine.
Yes.
And now you see this, I don't know if it's Juul or the other one that says it contains nicotine. Well, what are you doing advertising on TV?